Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, still on that grind, still reviewing the last few Eurovision songs that dropped on us all at once over the last couple of days. And next up in this particular batch, we have the newly renamed Republic of North Macedonia. You don't know how excited I was when I went onto Eurovision.tv and double-checked, and yes, they've renamed it, it's official. They have a name now that means that people are gonna stop fighting in the comments, or at least that's my hope. Anyway, so we've known for quite a bit of the Eurovision season that this year, North Macedonia will be once again represented by Tamara Todevska, who is actually a bit of a dab hand at Eurovision because she was a backing vocalist for her sister Tiana Dapčević in 2014, she was a backing vocalist for the late Toja Proeski in 2004, and of course, she was a lead artist alongside Adrian and Vrčak in 2008, where she came 10th in the semi-final and then didn't qualify because the rules were absolutely stupid back then. Well, this year, she's back with a vengeance with a song entitled Proud, which was released on International Women's Day because it's a song about women. Yeah, I summarised that horribly. Anyway, the song's in English, music by Darko Dimitrov, Robert Bibliov, and Lazar Tsvetkovsky, and lyrics by Kosta Petrov and Sanja Popovska. So, quite a comprehensive team. I approve of this song. Let's get into how I reacted to it. Well, I'm sure I'm not the only person in this particular boat, but when Tamara was first announced, right up to before the song was released, I was anticipating some kind of Eurovision power anthem kind of thing. So to get this kind of song instead was a bit of a shock to the system. Before I heard the song, but after I found out that it was a ballad, I was kind of unimpressed to begin with, because I was worried that after all that hype, we were just going to end up with just another ballad, But having actually heard the song for myself, yeah, I'm happy with the outcome. You see, friends, listening to the song for yourself makes all the difference, which is why I put a link in the end screen and the description, but I digress. This song kind of reminds me of Doma from last year's Junior Eurovision, which I also really liked, and it should have done better. She was absolutely robbed time and a place test. At first, I thought this one might benefit from some anthemic marching drums towards the end as well, but having listened to it a couple of times, that sort of made me think, you know what, no, this song is fine as it is. So, allow me to elaborate. Well, I can't very well review this song without highlighting the obvious point right from the get-go. This song has a very important, very relevant message that needs to be shared to this very day. It's sad that people still need to be told this rather than it being second nature, but here we are nonetheless. It helps quite a bit, though, that Tamara is singing from a genuine place of heart. She's not just vapidly trying to appeal for feminist votes, she truly believes in everything she's singing with her heart and soul. She performs the song with genuine conviction, because she has a personal stake in it, not just as a woman, but as a mother to her children. I can't claim to understand that feeling firsthand by any means, but I at least appreciate how much it means to her that her daughter grows up in a world where she's treated fairly, and, for that matter, that her son understands equally that this isn't just a women's fight to end toxic masculinity, it's a struggle for everyone to make the world a better place for everyone. And to Tamara, not only is this important, but it's not just a nebulous concept, it's something very real that she believes in for her family. She doesn't want her daughter to grow up being oppressed the same way that she was told to keep her head down. You can read all the interviews online, it's quite a moving, personal story here. I also want to praise the composition of the song in isolation from that, because it is relatively simple, much more than I was expecting, but it doesn't, at any point, feel overproduced or overblown or desperate for votes. And crucially, it doesn't overshadow the central point of the song, whilst at the same time not just sounding like a means to an end for the sake of making that point. It's a very, very well-struck balance between the two, and I applaud that. And of course, it helps, engagement-wise, that the composition does build up and become more complex over the course of the song, to keep things moving and to keep listener engagement up so that it doesn't sound like it stagnates. But it never gets to that point. It builds up and builds up, but it never eclipses the lyrics or its message. And I admire the amount of genuine care that must have gone into making that happen. North Macedonia is kind of on top of their game this year. Nevertheless, though, you should absolutely not feel obligated to like the song just because of its message. In fact, I do think that some people are going to kind of miss the point of the message somewhat and feel alienated as a result, or alternatively worry that now isn't the time for this message, I just came to have good fun at Eurovision. Well, backstep a little bit there. I want to emphasize that if you do feel alienated by the message of this song, you're kind of really missing the point. This isn't a song saying, women should rise up and become the dominant gender. It's saying the idea of having a dominant gender at all is stupid and women shouldn't have to fight to be treated as equals. And yeah, I'm on board with this message. True, some people might argue, as I said, that Eurovision isn't the place for this sort of thing, but it's an international stage with almost the whole world watching. I would argue that it's a very important place for a message like this, because people will hear it, people will understand it, will empower people. It's very similar to Serbia's message about domestic abuse in 2016. It's not a political message, it's not even a hot take, but some people are still not going to want to listen. Some people want to just turn off and hear mindless pop for 3 hours, so you might not like it for that reason. That doesn't make it a wholesome reason. Also, for all the hype that the North Macedonian delegation were building up around this song prior to its release, I can't imagine that I'm the only one who was expecting a more dramatic composition. Like, I thought that they would either go all in on the ballad aspects or produce something completely different, like more pop anthemic and less restrained. I don't mind that that isn't what we got at the end, because I think it sells the message a lot better, but I do recognise that some people might lose interest as a result. Expectations are very dangerous things. In fact, as a consequence, I think some people might acknowledge that the song builds up over the 3 minutes, but feel as though it doesn't build up enough to get its point across and stick in your head. For instance, the instrumental break after the first refrain. I like that, but some people might view it as filler, especially so if it's not staged well enough on the night. Still, I personally do actually have high hopes that the live performance of this song should tie up any loose ends that people may feel that it currently has, because you would have to work hard to get this song to come across incorrectly, but we'll have to wait and see what we get, because North Macedonia has a bit of a reputation for not being brilliant with live staging. I feel like they're going to get this one right, though. In the meantime, though, while they're thinking about their staging, or so I hope, to convert my feelings into numbers, I'm inclined to give this song a personal score of 10 out of 10. I'm not doing this to virtue signal or anything like that. I feel like I can genuinely be honest with my opinions here without fearing that I might be branded as misogynistic for not liking aspects of the song. But the thing is, I enjoy the full song as a composition and as a composition with a message, and I don't feel like I've been held at gunpoint to come to that conclusion. I've decided that organically. It follows design tenets of the Balkan ballad structure, which I already like, whilst still presenting contemporary and relevant instrumentation and features delivered by a charismatic, experienced performer who believes in every word she's singing. Yeah, it's not the sort of thing that everyone can engage with necessarily, musically or otherwise, but I myself do actually really like this one, and I'm not going to apologise for that. Technically, meanwhile, I concede I would lean a little bit more towards a 9 out of 10, because a lot of what this song does, it does very, very right. My only concern is when it comes to the composition, perhaps not maintaining the levels of engagement that it deserves, or that it needs to in order to fully get its message across. Still, as I said, I expect the live performance will address these concerns. For now, we have a really solid arrangement, a really sincere performer, and a steady progression that unites the two in a surprisingly engaging performance. I just hope that people don't write it off for being so simply arranged that they can't get into it in the first place, and I hope people don't write it off because they're afraid of hearing a message, you know? Now, how is this going to fare for North Macedonia's reputation? Well, this is another country that I've already done a Patreon video about, though that was before the name change, so it's a little bit out of date, but whatever. In that video, I observed that their songs tend to get half of it right and half of it wrong. Usually, it's a good song with poor live staging. I think this is a step up for the whole delegation, because it holds a lot of promise for getting both sides of the equation perfectly balanced. Tamara is no stranger to the Eurovision stage as both a lead artist and as a backing singer, and she's got a relevant, touching song with a genuine personal stake in it that she truly believes in. I can't imagine them getting anything wrong about this on the night, but, I mean, you never know, but for once I have confidence. So, you would have thought that would make this a guaranteed qualifier, right? So you would have thought, but this is another instance of a song where it's just too close to call. I would call semi-final 2 a bloodbath, but at this point both semi-finals are. So many countries have sent such brilliant songs that it's gonna be difficult just to pick 20 to put through to the final. On one hand, this song could stand out for its emotions, simplicity, and permanent relevance. Or, on the other, it could get swallowed up between songs with much louder hype surrounding them that potentially are much more vapid. So, I mean, if nothing else, if this ends up near the start of the second half, then I do worry that it might be overshadowed by Switzerland, for instance, or the Netherlands, or Norway. It all comes down to the running order. I want to believe, because of those entries with strong hype, that this song will stand out all the more because of its simplicity and genuineness. Because I think it deserves a spot in the final, and not just because of its message, mind you. But as is tradition with North Macedonia, it will all come down to how it comes across on the stage during the show. We can only sit back and wait and hope. Do you feel the same way? As ever, the comment section is open unless I've had to close it due to toxicity, but that's not been an issue so far this season. And also, of course, the iCard where you can vote and see how other people think about this song. Do you like it? Do you not like it so much? Do you feel somewhere in between? I celebrate all opinions on this channel. In the meantime, to Tamara and Team North Macedonia as a whole, I wish you the very best of luck when you get to Tel Aviv, because this is a strong song with a very important message, and I have faith in you, so we'll see where it gets you in May. See you then.